I mean, I think for her, probably trying the nebulizer probably would have been the best thing when she was younger, but her doctor seemed to lean away from it because of her physical activity. I mean, it would probably have been, to them, more justifiable for her to just stop doing her sport. But for her, that would have just stressed her out because she needed her sport. Her healthier and helped her grow a little bit away from some of the problems she had with the asthma versus, you know, sitting home doing nothing. John, I think I worried about it more so when he was so little, at under 2 years old, because you really have no control over it. When they're wheezing and they can't breathe, they don't know what to do. They cough, they can't sleep. With him, like I said, just his seemed to be more if he would get sick with a cold. So ultimately, he was treated with more with other medications during the time when he was sick. The liquid cough syrup that has the steroid in it seemed to give him some relief even with his asthma.
And I remember another girl, not so young, who needed her inhaler a couple of times that we had to, hurry up and find her inhaler for her before she had a major attack.
Her coaches were pretty much at wit's end trying to figure out, all right, what do we do here? Do we tell her she can't do gymnastics, or do we say, fine, you can have an inhaler with you all the time? Ultimately, that's what we got. Or her doctors said it was okay, so that's what we went with. And it, like I said, she got the relief when she needed it, as long as she had that inhaler. But on the serious end of it, not being able to breathe, I probably think the worst times were probably in gymnastics, when she would just get so completely wiped out and let it go to a point where nobody else was really, probably her worst times.
Being that I'm familiar with it and aware of how it affects children, yeah, I think it's definitely a big advantage of working with children, especially when you have, 600 some odd kids that come in there on a daily basis and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, when you come into a gym, the worst thing you fear is that they're going to fall off on equipment or something and get hurt by breaking an arm or a leg or whatever. But I think more times out of anything, we've had experiences where the children have asthma problems and they need their inhaler, and sometimes their mom forgets to bring their inhaler, and if it's a recreational class kid and their parents still sitting there, then it's a little bit easier because you can have the parent take them home. But if it's a teen child and they forget their inhaler or what have you, then that's a little bit harder because their parents aren't always there during their practice time. So it's a little bit easier because some little tricks of the trade that you can do to calm the asthma down without actually the medication, unless it's a severe case. Just simple things such as changing their environment, taking them outside versus inside, and making them sit and rest. One of the things I learned when Brandon was in the hospital when he had to go back for that severe case, they said simple things. If it's cold outside, take them outside. The cold air expands their lungs. Even if you have to wrap them up in a million blankets and take them outside, that's the best thing that'll open up their lungs for them if you don't have the medication or if it's not working for them. And then take them back inside and then take them back outside, so it helps to reverse their lung function for them. So there's little things like that you learn that you may not know that if you didn't have the experience. I grew up with all of my sisters having asthma, my mom having asthma, everybody having asthma but me.
Really didn't use inhalers or anything like that then. It was just really a matter of if you tired easily or you had breathing trouble, it was related to allergies or you're overdoing it. So, and it was just, oh, she has asthma, and you didn't hear of it as often as you do now. Another thing they would suggest to do was to use like a pot of warm water with steam, that somehow that was going to fix the problem. How I felt about it.
I think there's a lot of environmental factors that affect that. I think pollution in the air, different pollens and seasonal allergies are at their all-time worst than they ever had been before. So I think a lot of that definitely contributes to it, but I also think that there wasn't as much medical awareness of it before. It was really only in severe cases that they diagnosed it, whereas now they can catch it earlier and diagnose it and treat it earlier.
I mean, I think that's the most important thing, is to be aware, make sure your children anybody who has a child with asthma or you know
That could turn into something more severe.